今日ですか。今日はそうですね、まあ成り行き任せっていうことであんまり考えてないです。頭の中にしか。あとはなんとかやってみましょう。
So, from the title of this video, I'm sure you're all wondering, should you watch Evangelion now if you haven't seen it yet, because you're a lazy piece of shit who couldn't be bothered if it wasn't on Netflix? Well, what have you been doing with your life that was so goddamn important it couldn't wait for Best Girl?
Hopefully you didn't just f around and waste your life. Ooh, wee.
Oh no!
And I'm sure you're also wondering, should you watch the brilliant precursor to Evangelion? Yeah, I mean, you should probably watch it. Gunbuster! Doesn't matter how infamous Shinji being a bitch is, Asuka being annoying is, and Rei being second best girl behind Misato is. You need to watch Gunbuster first, because Anno's directorial debut turned the mech genre upside down, tore off its shirt, and ripped out its innards in 1988 when mech screamed girls not allowed. Well, Anno said fuck that, threw in some badass female babes for no real reason other than he has a thing for girls in skimpy leotards with nice legs, and I guess to create one of the most iconic mecha anime of all time, which is important if you're like me and you might think that mechs can look cool and have some sick fight scenes, but they just aren't the main event and neither are the alien invaders that have no personalities or character. Then you need something else to carry the story. And sure, Gunbuster coining the term the Gainax bounce may have been eventful and you probably aren't even listening to what I'm saying anymore, but the real main events were the spacesuit leotard wearing crybaby turned Inazuma kick screaming Noriko Takaya. Her hottie senpai One-sama, Kazumi Amano, who was actually named after the wife of the first president of Gainax, if you were wondering how important she was, and the staple rival German redhead Asuka Langley.
Oh no!
Sorry, I meant Jung. There I go confusing worse girls again. Must be because Asuka's mother in Evangelion and Jung in Gunbuster were both voiced by the same person, Maria Kawamura, and there's also that Kill la Kill guy Kochi or whatever his name is. I mean, the characterization is so solid in this anime that not only do you remember these characters, you pretty much see the same exact character appearing in descendants of this anime, carried on by Trigger and Production IG staff. Even Gainax hasn't decided to let this thing die because Hiroyuki Yamaga has stated that he's working on the Gunbuster 3 script in a fairly recent interview, and Yoshiyuki Sadamoto, one of my favorite artists of all time, is heading the character designs, which we will hopefully be seeing as soon as they start advertising Gunbuster 3. Gunbuster moves pretty fast, and if you don't stop to look around once in a while,
you could miss it.
If you don't like great pacing, this one isn't for you. One second Noriko's being forced to get in the robot like our boy Shinji over here, and the next she's in space. She was a little luckier than Shinji though, because her dad's dead.
Shinji, you must pilot the robot.
No, I am afraid.
Shinji, you fucker!
Hey Shinji, you better pilot it or I won't love you anymore.
And this inspires her to be an Uchu piloto and get her ass into space after some 1980s workout montaging, senpai idolizing, and scream kicking the shit out of the girls in the Space Academy who were making fun of her for getting special treatment. With cliche after cliche, in all honesty, while the first episode does set up Noriko's first trials she must overcome and her eagerness to follow in her father's footsteps, after she's selected to pilot the top secret mech, I wasn't very captivated by the series until about episode 3, because by then you realize the massive heart that not only Noriko but the whole series has, which keeps you rooting for it. Noriko's constantly crying and self-degrading. Basically, if Shinji was a waifu, he'd be Noriko, but a major difference is the way our Gunbuster MC has a 1980s positive outlook on life and the world, even if she has doubts about facing her fears. I also think as a young woman forced into this situation, her priorities deviate from Shinji's. Anno shows this difference by having her study mech maneuvers while the boy she meets kind of blows off studying because it isn't cool enough. Noriko even responds to the boy's flirtation by boasting about how he doesn't understand the close sisterly bond she has with her senpai in space. She's a patriot of Japan who wants to honor her father, and though she may break down crying over and over again, she gets back up and fights her way into space. And it's understandable for a young girl forced to fight aliens to be a little bit upset. She has to wear the same outfit with no pants every day because of Anno's fetishes.
なた方にとっては
And the time dilation theory used that slows down time in light speed means years are passing on Earth as only days in space, so all of Noriko's friends age exponentially faster than she does. Slightly depressing.
どうなるかわかんないです。怖いですよ。
And this catch-22 bears the ultimate question: do you risk saving humanity with nothing to come home to as your friends and family just age and die? Or do you let the aliens just kill everyone anyways?
どうなるかわかんないです。
それだこのままもう会えなくなってしまうなんて絶対に嫌
Well, this is certainly where this anime deviates from your typical heroine overcoming unlikely obstacles fantasy. There's some serious life or death contemplation going on here. While Eva does dive a little deeper into Shinji's mind and definitely exudes a more desolate tone, most likely due to Anno's well-known depression while he was creating the series.
あまり自分が好きになれないってなりますよね。でもよく言われるのは自分が好きじゃない人っていうのは自分の理想が高いからだっていうのもよく言われるんですけど、なんかそれはそういう苦しみっていうのを分かってない人だと思いますよ。
Gunbuster was a little more upbeat and kept you rooting for Noriko, so we see a massive shift in tone between Gunbuster and Eva, and I'm not saying one is better than the other, I'm just saying that Gunbuster will help you understand how Anno came at directing Eva, especially if you plan on watching Evangelion for the first time on Netflix, you uncultured psychopath. How have you not seen Eva by now? Not only that, but it will also prepare you for Kazuya Tsurumaki's Gunbuster sequel called Diebuster, made in 2004 to commemorate the Gainax 20th anniversary. And if you don't like Diebuster, we can't be friends because it is unquestionably one of the greatest and most underrated anime of all time that you need to watch right now. Oh, but Soul, it isn't on Netflix. Wah. Get it together. My family over at rightstuffanime.com just sent me both the Gunbuster and Diebuster Blu-rays, and you can get them for an insanely crazy deal right now. Link in the description to watch these bad boys. I mean, seriously, you can get the DVDs for like $40 off right now. And I got these Blu-rays, which were very sick. This has an awesome looking cover right here, if you guys can see that. The Ultimate Saga. It's got Gunbuster on the back right there. Pretty sure this has some special features. Yeah, this has the Japanese commentary, staff and cast interviews. It also has the trailers. That's so cool. You guys gotta pick these up and go watch Gunbuster. And Diebuster, you got my beautiful Nono riri right there on the front cover. These are so awesome. They got some special stuff inside as well. I absolutely love that Blu-ray cover right there. And then you have this cool little booklet of the Diebuster movie with some really neat stuff inside of it. You guys should go pick these up, honestly, if you like Gunbuster or Diebuster or just want to give it a try. They are totally worth it, man, I'm telling you. Like, so cool. It has some really unique Japanese stuff in there, which you usually don't see from US releases, so that's really awesome. Thank you over to the people at rightstuffanime.com. Go pick these up. It's also got a huge description of all the major characters of Diebuster. Honestly, they're both really good, but Diebuster is my personal favorite. It just has that fully cooly feel that I love so much, so go check these out. Go check them out. They're really good anime. Just some old school animation with best girls, insane fighting robots and space shit, and it's so cool, man. Go watch these. I mean, hell, I love Diebuster so much, it probably deserves a full video of its own. While Gunbuster has some fantastic animation, it's just not my style as much as Diebuster is, so I'm more personally fond of the latter. Either way, you need to watch both of these to prepare for Gunbuster 3 because while the characters or storylines may not carry over in this anime, you'll see countless throwbacks making you wish you did your homework on the first two whenever number 3 finally releases. But anyways, Anno predicted we'd basically be living up in space by 2015 with how easily space time travel is in anime, and on her first trip, Noriko meets her rival Jung, who was the real prototype for Asuka. Soviet, check. Redheaded, check. Cocky as hell, check. Annoying, flashing her tits everywhere. And Anno leads this anime with a wonderfully dramatic OST that keeps the suspense rolling as these characters prepare for massive battles with world-destroying aliens and mechs. Ring any bells?
Hey, Hey, Shinji!
And as things are speedily moving along, Noriko meets a boy who she ends up partnering with after her idol Amano kind of stabs her in the back by telling Kochi that she doesn't think Noriko is ready to be a pilot, and this causes Noriko to partner with this boy that she met by chance on a dare going into the darkness of a spaceship. She couldn't even catch a break in space, her classmates are so useless. And I kinda like this boy, but too bad he gets Kamina'd, causing Noriko further discouragement and inducing a fear of fighting in deep space. Not only that, but the OVA is so brief that we emotionally feel everything in this anime through Noriko. We still get to know the other characters, but not in depth. So when Smith doesn't return after both Noriko and the audience expects him to, Anno uses her as a conduit to convey that anguish in a very shocking, heartbreaking way. But thank God for that pacing, because Noriko, gets her shit together and emerges into space in epic Gainax fashion with arms crossed, and Roro Fight the Power starts to play in my head like as if it had existed in the 80s.
Do the impossible, see the invisible. Row, fight the power, touch the untouchable, break the unbreakable. Row, fight the power.
Insanely legendary mech anime fight scenes ensue, and episode 4 was probably one of my favorites of the series, as Gunbuster and Noriko appear triumphant, and that started to confuse me as to what Anno exactly planned to do with the final 2 episodes, because any normal director would have most likely ended the story there. But Anno's not your typical guy, and we still have some loose ends that need tied up, mainly promoting Hayao Miyazaki's new Ghibli films on Noriko's bedroom wall. Besides, Amano's relationship with Kochi needs to be wrapped up too, and who knew slapping the shit out of your girl would make her want you more. Oh, and humanity is doomed, so these 2 girls and Gunbuster are the only way to save Earth. Twice, the second time in monochrome. And while many people may believe the final black and white episode of Gunbuster was the cause of a dwindling budget, they'd be wrong. The episode was scaled to 16:9 with backgrounds painted to be monochrome. They were not filmed in black and white. Anno absolutely did this on purpose, marking a major death and change in mood for one of the most visceral and emotional climaxes in any anime ever. People say the same thing about the lengthened elevator pause in Evangelion, but these are glimpses of Anno's pure genius, not budget cuts. The final episode costs more than one in full color with some stunning animation. The ending pause gives us time to emotionally recuperate at what was just witnessed and take in the final deliberate misspelling of Okaidi, or welcome home, written in Japanese, which if you continue on to Diebuster you will fully understand. If just one of you go back to watch the Gunbuster series rather than some seasonal isekai bullshit, then my time making this video was well spent. Without Gunbuster, Gurren Lagann, Fully Coolly, Evangelion, Gainax itself would have never been the same. Gunbuster was the blueprint. Noriko was injected straight into the veins of protagonist after protagonist for the past 30 years. When you're overwhelmed by the over-the-top voice acting, nudity, and sprinkled subtle Yuri scenes, remain cognizant of the era that this series came from. If you're in the area for some horrific deep space battles mixed with some Gainax fan service and are searching for a place to roll yourself up into a ball in after you've finished watching Evangelion on Netflix, then Gunbuster is 100% for you. Evangelion gets all the credit it deserves, Gunbuster doesn't. So why don't you aim Gunbuster straight to the top of your watch list.